I'm often asked about what fly lines we use where. When I'm saltwater fishing down at the Outer Banks for blues, stripers, puppy drum, all that kind of thing, I have a Scientific Angler Mastery striper line on the reel. In that pocket of my vest right there, I've got a second spool with a teeny 350. Now obviously I'm using a 9-weight rod there because I'm throwing 2/0 flies most of the time. But the two lines I use would be a teeny 350 to dredge the bottom until I start hanging up on oyster bars. But the striper line will let me fish the shallower water in most cases. Now, for the bass fishing, I carry two lines. I was bass fishing last night, and what I was carrying was two lines. I have a weight forward 7 floating bass bug taper line on the reel, which covers probably 80% of my needs. However, when the water gets cold in the fall or in the spring when it gets high, I go to a sink tip, Scientific Angler Mastery sink tip line, in which the first 12 feet sinks at about 2 to 4 inches per second. This line is very much worthwhile, and it'll let you fish places that the floating line will not. Could you get by without it? Well, I wouldn't want to, but you could. Obviously, your floating line is going to be your first line. Now, when I'm fishing for trout in the East Coast and the smaller streams, the spring creeks in the West, the line I use is the Scientific Angler Mastery XPS. When I was testing lines for Scientific Angler, Jean Kuhn was the girl in charge of that. Jean sent one of them in here. She said, "Harry, test this and let us know what you think." And she had it labeled as a silk line. Well, I got on the phone right back to her and I said, "Jean, you sent me the wrong line. This is not a silk line." She said, "No, but we're trying to get a line that'll perform like the old silk line in delicacy and accuracy." So that was the beginning of the line that we now know as the XPS, which there again, delicate presentation. I use this up to a size 4. 2, 3, 4, I'm always using an XPS. When I'm headed out west on my 6-weight rod, then I'm going to go to the one they call the expert distance. This is a stiffer line. It'll let me cast a little further and let me throw a little bit larger flies. Buck the wind better too. So the XPS on delicate situation, expert distance when you've got to go to heavier line size and make longer casts.